And no, he's not taking the presidency. President Trump has ceded the presidency to Elon Musk. No, that's not happening.
Wow. The increasingly common perception that unelected MAGA billionaire Elon Musk has effectively usurped control of the Republican Party and the MAGA movement from Donald Trump and is simply using Trump as a puppet is so widespread and persuasive that Donald Trump himself, visibly nervous, went on stage at a big MAGA rally to desperately try and debunk this. And I don't think it's going to work, folks. I think it's going to make the perception that much worse. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. Wow, I was planning on discussing this issue anyway, but then I saw Donald Trump's recent performance at the America Fest rally. This is just breaking news. This just happened, and I'm like, we definitely have to talk about it. It's so bad that even Trump, in his stupidity and malignant narcissism, felt the need to try to desperately fend this off, and I think it's just going to make it worse. So before we get to Trump, for context, Elon Musk, who donated between $250 or $277 million to electing Donald Trump that we know of based on financial disclosures, well, he's worming his way into the heart of the MAGA movement. He is constantly by Trump's side. He's constantly at Mar-a-Lago. He's constantly publicly and privately pressuring the MAGA movement to do what he wants, this person for this role, this policy instead, not this continuing resolution. And the increasingly common perception is that for all intents and purposes, he's the leader of the Republican Party and the de facto president-elect. And it's so bad that even on Twitter, like if you look, President Elon is constantly trending. People are commenting on this on both sides of the aisle. President Musk, if you look at President-elect Musk or President-elect Elon, all these things, it is a trending notion. And people are talking about it. It's being, articles are being published about this, news segments and news commentary being devoted to it. This is an increasingly widespread thing. And Donald Trump is nervous, he's insecure, and he actually dedicated a tangent at his America Fest speech to actually try to address this. And I don't think this is persuasive at all. So we're going to play these clips and unpack it together, starting with this one.
We will create the new Department of Government Efficiency headed by Elon Musk. And no, he's not taking the presidency. I like having smart people. They're on a new kick. Russia, Ukraine, all the different hoaxes. And the new one is, President Trump has ceded the presidency to Elon Musk. No, that's not happening. But Elon's done an amazing job. Isn't it nice to have smart people that we can rely on? Right? Don't we want that? He's done a great job. And I'll tell you, we will create...
No, that's not going to... He almost sounds like he's having some sort of like he's processing grief, like denial on stage with cameras on in front of thousands of people. There was no reason to even address this. That certainly wasn't in the teleprompter. He could have been talking about Doge and, how he could have used this. Number one, if it were true that he's really in charge and Elon Musk isn't, but number two, that he wanted to fend off the perception, he could have done this in a different way. He could have talked about in his prepared remarks about the so-called Department of Government Efficiency that, he could have used it to reestablish dominance. Elon Musk is going to come to me and with my blessing and blah, 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 like he could have done this in a way without feeding directly the notion that Musk has usurped control over him. But he did the exact opposite. He couldn't help himself. He's so insecure. Think about this. I want you all to remember, and I may try to pull up the clip here in just a second, just to bring you back. You remember how Trump behaved during the debate against Vice President Harris where she attacked his crowd size? How you almost see like there's a pause as he's processing in real time, but he just can't help himself. He felt the need. He calls it a hoax. Well, you just furthered the perception by addressing this so-called hoax. You gave it your time and attention. You proved to not only your followers, but your critics, people like me, that this is on your mind, that this is bothering you. You're about to become the most powerful man in the world, at least on paper, right? In theory, not only the most powerful man in the world, but the most powerful version of the most powerful man in the world. Because, again, on paper, you've got unified control of the United States government. You have a Supreme Court immunity decision, which gives you even more carte blanche. This should be, you won re-election and you won the popular vote. In theory, a secure person who is in control would not feel the need to address this. But you did. And that suggests that you know it's true, that Musk has usurped you and you don't control him, and that the dynamic favors him over you. Here's another clip.
He's not going to be president, that I can tell you. And I'm safe. You know why? He can't be. He wasn't born in this country. But the fake news knows that. No, he's a great guy, and we want to have him. Everybody, so many people are in this audience that have.
Donald, that's why. Okay, so what Trump is talking about is the fact that Elon Musk, not being a natural-born citizen of the United States, he was born in South Africa. He was a South African citizen before he came to the United States and became an American citizen. He's constitutionally ineligible to become president. That's true. But nobody's saying he is the official, the de jure president-elect. We're saying he is the shadow president-elect, the de facto president-elect, as in all but name, the power behind the throne, that he's pulling your strings. You didn't debunk anything, Don. Again, is it, well, he can't be president, so that just proves a fake news. That just proves the fake news wrong. No. It would be fake news if we said that he was going to run for president and be elected. That would be fake news. Instead, what we're saying is because of this constitutional ineligibility, he has found a way to subordinate you, the official president-elect, the man who is not constitutionally ineligible, though quite frankly should be, given Section 3 of the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, which forbids oath takers who are insurrectionists from becoming president again. Unfortunately, the Supreme Court decided against sanity on that one. I digress. That's the point of him using you as a puppet, Donald. And he said, I'm safe. You're not safe, not from de facto control. It comes down to strength of character, strength of will, the willingness to eject Musk's sinister influence. But you are also a corrupt billionaire, and you're afraid of him. Elon Musk, for his part, listen, Elon Musk has very, very, very stupid political takes, very dishonest political takes. Politically, he is genuinely a stupid person. But he, as just in general, he is definitely smarter than Trump. And he actually saw this coming. Elon Musk blasts legacy media puppets trying to tear him and Donald Trump apart with President Elon talking points. And this was from 2 days ago. And, it's talking about people who have been, pointing out the ever-shifting, obvious dynamic between Trump and Musk. So Musk responded to this idea. He said, this is exactly the goal. The political and legacy media puppets all got their new instructions yesterday and are now parroting the same message to drive a wedge between Donald Trump and me. And he said this in response to the goal is to weaken Trump and Elon by fomenting tensions between them. By jabbing Trump about not being the alpha, the idea is to provoke him to sideline Elon and to fray the relationship. Except you're the one effectively telling us, you both are signaling that this is the case with your inappropriate, assertive dominance over U.S. politics. You're the ones creating this perception. If it's not true, then maybe you should get the hell out of politics instead of burrowing deeper into it. You, Elon Musk, and you, Donald Trump, are the ones feeding this perception. If it's not true, then behave differently. But I think it is true. And again, Musk is smart enough to see this coming. He's like, oh, well, shit. The only way this works is if I'm in Trump's orbit. Because it's in theory. In theory, this could end if Trump finds a backbone, if Trump finds his sense of assertion, his alpha masculine tendencies, if they really existed. In theory, since he is officially the president-elect, he could eject Musk out of MAGA. He could expel him. For those of you out there, I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan. I imagine many of you are too, at least the first 4 seasons. But I want you to think about it. In Game of Thrones, there's this position called the Hand of the King. And on paper, you're basically a diet king. You're a deputy king. You are the prime minister, but you're basically one step below the king, and you can do everything that the king can do, except the king can overrule you, right? That's the point. Like it's a uniquely powerful position with no real historical analog, except perhaps the grand viziers of, like certain Persian empires, okay? In Game of Thrones, the hand of the king often becomes the true power in government because they're able to intimidate and manipulate their monarchs, even though they technically serve at the monarch's pleasure. So in Game of Thrones, you have Tywin Lannister, the hand of the king, and he's able to bully, intimidate, and manipulate every king he's ever worked for, even to their faces. I probably can't play the clip because it would be copyright struck, so I'm not going to do it here. But for those of you who watch Game of Thrones, that's the dynamic. So it's that tension of, okay, technically I work for this person who could snap their fingers and fire me, as powerful as I am, but through sheer force of personality and other leverage, I need to sideline them. Well, that's what Elon Musk has done. But he also, like many, has the wherewithal to try to avoid overtly emasculating their boss, their so-called boss, in public. Elon Musk is clever enough to try to do that. So he's trying to get ahead of this. He's like, no, people are just trying to drive a wedge between us. I'm not the president. I'm not the president-elect. I'm just a guy. He needs that perception to be true so his puppets don't cut their own strings. He did it again in another tweet. First of all, I'm not the author of this proposal. Credit Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and Speaker Johnson. Second, this is a much better bill that is closer to being a real continuing resolution, talking about the failed, aborted attempt by MAGA Republicans to give a partisan continuing resolution after Elon Musk torpedoed a bipartisan continuing resolution. When a new version was offered, he was like, when people were saying this is a Musk-Johnson proposal, Democrats were like, Elon Musk is behind this. Elon Musk tried to get ahead of it. No. I had nothing to do with this. I am so humble. I am not powerful at all. I have nothing. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy with $400 billion and a social media platform. The real champs are Donald Trump and Mike Johnson and J.D. Vance. Very clever. I don't know if it's working because even before Trump had this like burst of insecurity on stage, Carolyn Levitt, a Trump spokesperson, had to officially respond to this. Quote, as soon as President Trump released his official stance on the continuing resolution, Republicans on Capitol Hill echoed his point of view. President Trump is the leader of the Republican Party, full stop. There's another line in Game of Thrones by Tywin Lannister in which he humiliates his nominal boss, the king, in front of the whole cabinet, the whole council. He says, any man who must say, I am the king is no true king. I'll make you understand that once I've won your war for you. He, the nominal subordinate, was saying that to his boss. And the whole point is, this is a betrayal of you're insecure if you have to constantly remind people that you're in charge. You're in charge because power should speak for itself, even if facts don't. What is Trump doing? Trump is saying, I'm in charge. I'm the guy, not Elon. No, I'm not giving you the presidency. I'm the real president. Seriously, guys. And his own spokespeople are releasing official statements to that effect. You know this is working on him because it's true. And because it's true, and because Elon Musk is an unelected MAGA billionaire, and, just single-handedly with his own presence, driving the United States deeper and deeper into oligarchy, taking it to unprecedented. I mean, the presence of money in politics and its disproportionate influence, that was bad enough. Elon Musk, the relationship between Trump and Elon Musk has 3x'd it, 4x'd it, quadrupled it in a small time frame, simply in terms of the dynamic between two people. This is where we are. And Musk's influence is so sinister, and people are catching on to it, that it is driving Trump insane. But it's all Trump's fault. The reason that Elon Musk is perceived to be this powerful and dominant over Trump is because of Trump. And so if it's not true, Donald, put Musk in his place, kick him out of the MAGA inner circle. Because the longer you refuse to do that and you burst into these insecure, outbursts on stage and you have your spokesperson, scribble out these wildly unconvincing gestures, the more you do that, the more you feed the perception that Musk is in charge. not you. Pretty embarrassing. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.